It's time for an overview of my satisfactory base at tier 3-ish. This is unspoiled wilderness, this is not. So I've started out here on the edge of the industrialized area. It's a little mining outpost. We've got 3 miners producing iron here, which is more pure than the iron I started here. So these things actually produce the vast bulk of my iron, like 6/7 of it, I guess. So like this is 3/4 of my iron comes from here. Okay. Rather than try and run on those things, let's go to the main base. We've got a jump pad for that somewhere. Here's limestone mining and concrete production, completely separate production line from everything else. I haven't found anything that requires concrete being combined into it live yet. Oh man, look at all that iron ore flowing along these vertically parallel tracks. Oh, they all stopped. Well, it was really cool to look at for a second there. But, I don't quite need all of the ore as fast as I'm producing it. Right, so here's the hub area where I started as a main building thing, and here's even more iron mining, but less pure ore. So this is my legacy iron mine. It's only as good as one of those 3 miners, but it's still useful. I've got a bunch of stuff connected to it, and then, well, let's go and have a look at the iron setup. The color coding is that grey things are part of the iron production pipeline. So originally I had the legacy miners coming in here and producing iron rods and plates. There's some rods moving along the path there, and there should be some plates here-ish. Not seeing a lot of plates being produced. No power. That's not good. Well, it's a good thing I've come along and had a look at this. I've probably messed something up. Alright, so we've now resumed iron plate production. Okay, so thankfully I had a huge stockpile of plates, and it didn't matter that I was temporarily not making any. It was completely full, this container, in fact. So it was irrelevant, the plate machine was turned off. So you get rods and plates, and they can be combined in multiple ways and turned into a whole bunch of things. Rods turn into screws. There's boxes of screws. These screws combine with plates to make reinforced plates. There's the 2 of them going into a big assembler thing, which makes whirring noises. Is this turned on? Yes, it is. Yeah, there it is. Producing a reinforced plate, which we'll see come out here. Maybe? Yeah, there it is. So those are quite expensive in satisfactory terms. You go through a lot of reinforced plates. Got the storage box for them, but it's not full up, because I use them regularly. Rotors, the bases of machines, these are made out of screws and rods, I think. Somewhat abstract. You would actually need, more things in a rotor, an engine than that. These 2 containers are where they are because I sometimes connect them to this assembler down here. This is producing spaceship parts, basically. I call them that because I'm used to Civilization 4. It's not actually spaceship parts, it's parts to be sent up a space elevator for phase advancement stuff. Right now I don't need any of that, or rather I do need some stuff that I haven't set up production for yet, so this is idle, this setup. Let's return to the iron section. That's the basic logic of iron production. Although, actually I missed out on modules. Rods are also converted into these things, modular frames. Rods and reinforced plates. So the plates actually come back out in this upper production line thing here. So this area is quite messy. That's because I needed more of everything. So I set up the other 3 miners that we saw at the start of the game. And those all come into the base here, producing this thing, producing a whole lot more iron rods. So a shitload of rods come out here. Look at the rods, like the shitload. A bunch more iron plates are being made here. I think it's going into plates, probably? Yeah, there they are, going up the vertical lift there. And this last stream of iron, you might notice is coloured blue rather than grey. A bit hard to tell the difference though, but it might be more obvious from the air. it's visible or not. No, you still can't tell. Well, anyway, that iron ore flowing along there is actually part of the steel pipeline rather than the iron pipeline. It's got a different destiny. Alright, so let's get a schematic overview of the factory, having focused on the most complex bit of it so far. There's all the iron production stuff. Here is the copper production stuff, somewhat neglected, as I don't have as much of a complex use for copper. Over there is the burgeoning steel stuff, coated in blue, painted blue rather. There's not much steel stuff yet, and at the back are power plants. So, let's go look at the copper briefly. There's not much to it yet. I think the game, at this tier of the game, avoids combining metals much. It's a different structure to something like Factorio, which wants you to recombine everything. So I'm turning my copper into sheets to make pipes with. Huge number of sheets, because I don't need that many pipes yet. I'm turning it into wires, which are produced fairly slowly compared to how many you go through, so don't have a full stack of wires. And into cables. You can always use more cables. They're very useful, but I also make them very fast. So, cable boxes. Now this green box, I haven't talked about green. This is the biomass pipeline, currently idle. I turn wood and leaves and flowers and things into biomass, and then turn the biomass into packed biomass. And solid biofuel ultimately is stored in here. This is obsolete because I was using biofuel for my main power source until I got access to coal. So let's go up and have a look at coal with a brief digression through the steel area. So this takes in iron ore and coal. Don't worry about the coal yet, it's a component of steel. It's making steel ingots, lots of. This one's actually overclocked. I've got some power shard things to make ingots faster from a single foundry. And those steel ingots are turning into steel byproducts of, what I got, pipes and steel beams. There's no jet fuel around, thankfully. And those will be what I use next to produce more advanced objects. I've got this area set out here to put a little bit more workspace in. Then, power. Currently I'm running at up to 280 out of 375 megawatts. It's not as much of a buffer as it sounds like. With even one less coal power plant, I would occasionally be able to, when everything was running at once, spike up to levels that would blow a fuse. I have, to recover from situations like that, I have back at my hub a couple of standby biomass burners, which are not turned on, but ready to be turned on at a moment's notice if necessary. So the coal power plants operate using steam turbines, so they're not just taking coal, but also water. This pipe contains water. Lots of water. That is coming from a lake up here in the countryside. So, to follow the pipelines, we'll take a look at the lake briefly. Heading out into the wilderness. There are monsters that attack you and things in this game, but if they come at me, I've got a rebar gun. It's mostly made of concrete and it shoots iron rods. Engineering, repurposed. So I'm draining this lake, basically, into my coal plants. I don't know how the lake replenishes itself, but it does somehow. Water extractors. So the water is only one component of the coal power setup. Coal power is very freeing because with biomass you have to be constantly refilling it, and so you have to do manual gathering of stuff, although it grows more efficient over time. Once you get coal, it feels like your basic base can be self-sustaining. So that's a major quality of life improvement. But to do that I do need a constant supply of coal, so where's it all coming from? It's an enormous amount of coal. It's powering 5 power plants and being made into steel. I need large volumes of coal. I've had some trouble getting access to coal. Most of the deposits I've been able to scan are a long way away and behind dangerous things. However, this truck station is full of coal. It's coming in on trucks. If we wait around for a moment, we'll probably see one. Because I did manage to reach a single coal deposit that was semi-far away, as opposed to extremely far away, and highly pure. Ah yes, here comes a coal truck now. Technically it's a tractor rather than a truck. This thing is dumping a load of coal on us. See, it's full now. I might actually try and ride the truck to the other station, end of the line. You can get inside and drive it around manually, but it won't follow its automated route while also being inside it, so you have to kind of ride precariously on top. If it hits a bump or something, I'll fly off. So I've got some long power lines here connecting me out to my most remote outpost. I say outpost, but these aren't really bases, they're just mining points. Well, the truck stop is a bit outpost, like, oh dear, oh no. Okay, I can just get under the wire there. I thought it was going to knock me off the tractor. It's happened before. The sun has totally set as I show off this factory stuff. Here's another truck stop. This is where the coal is coming from. So, I've dumped it into the truck. Thankfully, we seem to be not using coal as fast as we mine it. This place is slowly filling up with coal. I think it's filling up rather than draining. I'll have to keep an eye on that because I am burning through coal fairly quickly. Right now it's almost half full. Hopefully later it'll be more than half full. So the coal itself comes from even further away, but there's not much distance left yet to the edge of the world. There's a bridge I had to make to be able to get the truck over there from when I was constructing this miner. It was just like a single lonely coal mining point with power lines connecting us all the way. The world's quite large. There's many regions of it I can't really get to yet, or haven't been able to explore much of. Lots of interesting areas, strange new technologies and things. I believe there are many, many more factory things available than I currently have access to. I'm definitely enjoying this game. I don't want to edit a node. So that's where the truck waits for a moment to get dropped off. Okay, thanks for factorying. I'm now trapped out here in the wilderness. Actually, I wonder if I can just make a new truck. I'll just make another tractor and drive it home. I'll power this one with a little bit of spare coal. Oh, hang on. I've got a whole depot here full of coal. No shortage of that stuff presently. Here's how they work manually. It's nice and fast. Notice that you don't actually get inside the tractor, you just kind of ride on the outside of it, so I still better not drive through that radiation zone or something. Space over the region. I'll actually leave this manual transport truck near my landing pad, because this is a jump pad that I use to... a gel pad, rather, that I use to jump outside of my base rapidly. Oh. And one more. Oh. And back in the thick of things. Factory.